1. Gabby suffers a worrying medical emergency. Gabby's increasing obsession with healthy eating takes a dangerous turn next week when she experiences a frightening collapse at home farm. Her strict attitude toward food has already started affecting her young son, after she refused to let him attend a friend's birthday party because she disapproved of the food being served. Even a homemade organic meal prepared by Billy failed to reassure her, as she searched for a reason not to eat it after noticing it included a garlic dressing. The following week, Gabby focuses on encouraging her followers to embrace her lifestyle on social media. Although she brushes off a dizzy spell, Dawn later discovers her barely responsive in the home farm kitchen. Alarmed by her condition, Dawn insists she visits the village surgery. After examining her, Manpreet finds that Gabby's blood pressure is lower than normal and advises her to take a pregnancy test as a precaution. 2. Gabby turns on Dawn after private information is shared. The pregnancy test confirms Gabby isn't expecting a baby, leaving Dawn relieved that Billy won't be becoming a father again. That relief quickly disappears when Gabby admits she has stopped taking the contraceptive pill because it doesn't fit with her new clean living lifestyle. Dawn has never been comfortable with Billy and Gabby's romance. She previously encouraged them to delay telling the children about their relationship, and even the youngsters' positive reactions failed to ease her concerns. Worried about Gabby's decision to stop using contraception, Dawn believes Billy deserves to know. She asks him to meet her at the cafe and fills him in on the situation. Gabby is furious when she discovers Dawn discussed such a personal matter without asking her first, accusing her of meddling in her private life. Meanwhile, with his wedding to Dawn drawing closer, Joe becomes increasingly unsettled by how focused she remains on Billy. Gabby's earlier suggestion that Dawn still has feelings for her ex begins to play on his mind. Joe sets Graham on Caleb's trail. Caleb ruins Joe's latest attempt to rebuild his relationship with Noah next week, while unintentionally making Joe suspicious about his own secret dealings. The brothers have remained distant ever since Joe drugged Noah in a failed attempt to steal his kidney, a chain of events that ultimately led to the limousine crash which claimed the lives of Amy, Susie, and Layla. Although Noah escaped the operation, Joe eventually received the transplant he needed after secretly taking a kidney from Caleb. Feeling like he no longer belongs in the village, Noah has recently been searching for electrical work overseas. When an opportunity in Germany appears, Joe sees it as the perfect chance to reconnect with him. However, Caleb steps in and prevents Joe from getting anywhere. Later, Joe visits the depot intending to confront Caleb, but his arrival creates problems because Caleb is desperate to protect his counterfeit car parts business. He acts unusually friendly in an effort to send Joe away as quickly as possible. Instead of calming Joe's suspicions, Caleb's strange behavior convinces him something is being hidden. Back at home farm, Joe instructs Graham to investigate his uncle. The following day, Graham begins secretly watching the depot and taking photographs, hoping to uncover the truth behind Caleb's illegal operation. 4. Billy crosses a line with Dawn. Joe continues to dwell on Gabby's suggestion that Dawn still has feelings for Billy, and his concerns soon appear justified. After Dawn discovers a detention notice in Lucas's pocket, she and Billy are forced to deal with the issue together as parents. Spending time together reminds Billy of their old relationship, and he impulsively leans in to kiss Dawn. She immediately pulls away before anything happens, only moments before Joe walks into the hallway. Dawn fears her fiancé may have witnessed enough to realize what Billy was trying to do. The next day, Joe unexpectedly gathers the family for a lunch at home farm. Even Graham suspects there is another reason behind the invitation, leaving everyone wondering exactly what Joe has discovered. Will Steve drag Kev back into crime? Kev's determination to leave his criminal past behind is tested next week when his old friend Steve arrives and begins eyeing up the village as an easy target. Since Lewis agreed to give his biological father another opportunity, Kev has returned to working at the cafe and has been doing everything possible to make up for the years they lost. Although his eagerness has occasionally been overwhelming, Kev is determined to prove he can be a dependable father. Steve's arrival immediately unsettles Kev, especially after he entertained Lewis with stories about their criminal history together. Kev made it clear that those days were over and warned Steve not to interfere with the new life he has built. However, Steve is stunned that Kev hasn't taken advantage of what he sees as easy opportunities around the village. While Kev focuses on organizing a birthday surprise for Lewis, Steve suggests they team up to rob Home Farm. Kev quickly rejects the idea and insists the village is now his home, making it clear he wants no part in any crime. Steve refuses to abandon the plan. As Kev, Claudette and Charles prepare for Lewis's birthday celebration, Steve secretly gets ready to carry out the robbery by himself. Elsewhere, Vinny's growing concerns threaten to complicate matters even further. Will Steve's actions ruin Kev's chance of rebuilding his relationship with Lewis? Or will Vinny create even bigger problems for the reunited father and son? 6. More unwanted visitors arrive at Home Farm. Steve isn't the only person with Home Farm in his sights, as Serena also prepares to secretly return to the estate for reasons of her own. Ever since she arrived in the village, Serena has raised plenty of questions, especially after Kev recognized her as a police officer. Although she claimed she had left the force, suspicion only grew after she was later spotted entering a police station. Her repeated interest in John also worried those around her, particularly after photographs confirmed the pair had met while he was still on the run last December. Robert originally ordered Serena to leave the village, but eventually softened his stance after she explained her reasons. John had misled Serena as well, but she continued hiding the real reason for her interest in Home Farm. After secretly stealing a USB drive from the house, she searched through its contents on her laptop, only to discover it didn't contain the information she was looking for. Determined to try again, Serena manipulated events so Ross would spend more time with her, using him as a way to get back inside Home Farm and quietly return the stolen USB. Ross believed Serena was romantically interested in him, completely unaware that she later described him during a secret phone call as nothing more than an easy route into the property. Next week, another mysterious conversation confirms that the USB search has failed, forcing Serena to make a second attempt. She sneaks into Home Farm once again, unaware that Steve is already inside carrying out a burglary. The pair are shocked when they unexpectedly run into each other, but they have no choice except to hide together after Ross suddenly arrives. Will Ross uncover the truth and finally realize why Serena has been keeping him close? 7. Claudette's revelation leaves Charles speechless. Claudette unexpectedly finds herself at the center of events next week, after agreeing to a mysterious arrangement. Since Kev returned to the village, she has been one of his biggest supporters, giving him somewhere to stay and encouraging him to rebuild his relationship with Lewis. More recently, Claudette convinced Kev not to quit his job at the cafe when life became difficult. On Thursday, she accepts a secretive deal, although the details remain unknown. The following day, after Steve suddenly disappears, Claudette confesses something to Charles that leaves him completely stunned. What has Claudette been hiding? Emmerdale airs on weeknights at 8 p.m. on ITV1. Episodes are also available to stream from 7 a.m. on ITVX and YouTube.